Hey everyone, it's Allah. Let's start with a hypothetical, but maybe not so hypothetical question for some of you out there. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you ate a lizard? Maybe it was a dare from a friend, a survival show you were watching, or just a random, weird thought that popped into your head. It seems like something out of an extreme adventure series, right? A quick, protein-packed snack when you're lost in the wild. But what if I told you that this seemingly simple act of survival could have devastating consequences for your health? The reality is far from what you see on TV, and it's something we need to talk about seriously. In this shocking video, we reveal the disturbing truth about consuming reptiles. We're going to dive deep into the medical science behind why eating a lizard is an incredibly risky gamble. I've been getting a lot of questions about strange survival tactics, and this one tops the list for being both fascinating and incredibly dangerous. We'll break down the specific pathogens, the body's immediate and long-term reactions, and why your digestive system is not equipped to handle this kind of meal. It's not just about an upset stomach. We're talking about a cascade of potential health crises. From dangerous bacteria to deadly parasites, eating a lizard could be more dangerous than you imagine. We're going to explore the microscopic world of germs that call these reptiles home, and explain exactly what they can do once they're inside your body. We'll look at the severe infections, the organ damage, and the life-threatening conditions that have been documented in real medical cases. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a newfound respect for these common reptiles, and a clear understanding of why they should stay off your plate, no matter how desperate the situation might seem. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the most well-known risk associated with reptiles' bacteria, and specifically, Salmonella. You've probably heard about Salmonella in the context of undercooked chicken or eggs, but lizards are major carriers. In fact, the CDC estimates that over 90% of all reptiles carry Salmonella bacteria in their digestive tracts, on their skin, and in their feces. The critical thing to understand is that these bacteria are completely harmless to the lizard. Now, it's a part of their natural gut flora. But for us humans, it's a completely different story. When you ingest Salmonella, you're introducing a potent pathogen that your body is not prepared to fight off in that context. Once inside your system, Salmonella bacteria don't just pass through, they are invasive. They attach to the lining of your intestines and can even enter your bloodstream, a condition known as bacteremia. This invasion triggers a strong inflammatory response from your immune system. Your body recognizes a foreign threat and goes into full-on attack mode. This is what leads to the classic symptoms of salmonellosis, or salmonella food poisoning. Media group: person clutching stomach in pain, person vomiting in bathroom, hospital patient with IV drip ice stock could distribute equally, severe abdominal cramps, explosive diarrhea, and vomiting. It's your body's desperate, violent attempt to expel the invader. The dehydration from this fluid loss alone can be severe enough to require hospitalization, especially if you're in a survival situation with no access to clean water. But it gets worse. While most healthy individuals can fight off a salmonella infection within a week or so, some strains can be incredibly aggressive. For people with weakened immune systems, the elderly or young children, the infection can become systemic. This means it spreads from the gut to other parts of the body like the brain, causing meningitis, the bones, or the heart valves. We're talking about a simple dare turning into a life-altering chronic condition. So, even if the lizard looks clean on the outside, you have to assume it's teeming with a bacterial army ready to wage war on your insides. It's a biological booby trap. If the bacterial threat wasn't enough to scare you off, let's talk about parasites. Lizards are often intermediate hosts for a whole host of parasitic worms, and these aren't the kind of things you can just cook away. One of the most horrifying examples is a nematode called Spirometra, which causes a disease known as sparganosis. When a lizard eats an infected frog or drinks contaminated water, the parasite larvae, called plerocercoids, set up camp in its muscle tissue. They can lie dormant in the lizard for a long time, just waiting for a predator, like an unsuspecting human, to come along and eat it. When you eat raw or undercooked lizard meat containing these larvae, you become the new, definitive host. But here's the terrifying part. The parasite doesn't just stay in your gut. These larvae are migratory. They can burrow through your intestinal wall and travel throughout your body. They've been found in subcutaneous tissue, causing painful, moving lumps under the skin. They can invade the eyes, leading to blindness. And in the most severe cases, they can migrate to the brain, causing a condition called cerebral sparganosis. This can lead to seizures, paralysis, severe headaches, and even death. The diagnosis is incredibly difficult because the symptoms mimic other neurological disorders. Treating these parasitic infections is a nightmare. Unlike bacteria, which can often be treated with antibiotics, removing a worm that's embedded in your brain or eye tissue usually requires complex and risky surgery. Imagine a surgeon trying to extract a live, wriggling worm from your brain matter without causing permanent damage. There are also parasitic flukes and tapeworms that can be transmitted. Each one comes with its own set of horrifying symptoms, from liver damage to cystic masses forming in your lungs. The lizard isn't just a meal, it's a Trojan horse, delivering a hidden army of parasites that can wage a long, silent war on your organs for years to come. Okay, let's say you've eaten the lizard. What happens in the first few hours? Your body's initial reaction is often swift and, honestly, pretty violent. The first line of defense is your stomach acid, which is incredibly potent. However, it's not always enough to neutralize the sheer volume of bacteria and potential toxins present in the lizard's flesh and gut contents. When your body detects something profoundly wrong, something it recognizes as poison, it triggers a powerful rejection mechanism. The two most immediate symptoms you're likely to experience are intense nausea and projectile vomiting. This isn't just regular "I ate something that disagreed with me" vomiting. It's a forceful, full-body response. This immediate physical rejection is your body screaming, "Get this out of me now!" The nausea and vomiting are controlled by a part of your brain called the chemoreceptor trigger zone, which detects toxins in the blood. As the bacteria and their endotoxins start to be absorbed, this zone goes on high alert, initiating the gag reflex. Following this, you'll likely develop a fever. A fever is not the illness itself. It's a symptom of your immune system kicking into high gear. Your body raises its internal temperature to create a less hospitable environment for the invading pathogens and to speed up the production of white blood cells. So, you're looking at a trifecta of misery-crippling nausea that makes it hard to even think, repeated bouts of vomiting and diarrhea that dehydrate you rapidly, and a rising fever that leaves you feeling weak, achy, and delirious. In a comfortable home setting, this is a terrible experience. In a survival scenario, it's potentially a death sentence. You're losing precious fluids and electrolytes, you're too weak to find water or shelter, and your elevated body temperature is making you even more susceptible to dehydration. The very act you thought would save you has now put you in a far more dangerous situation. We've talked about bacteria, parasites, and the immediate symptoms, but now we need to discuss the most serious outcome: systemic, life-threatening infections. If the bacteria from the lizard, like Salmonella, manage to breach your intestinal wall and enter your bloodstream, you're now in a race against time. This condition, sepsis, is the body's extreme and overwhelming response to an infection. It's not the bacteria that's directly killing you, it's your own immune system's out-of-control reaction. It starts releasing a flood of chemicals into your bloodstream to fight the infection, but this chemical cascade causes massive inflammation throughout your entire body. This widespread inflammation can lead to a catastrophic chain reaction. Your blood vessels become leaky, causing a dramatic drop in blood pressure, a condition known as septic shock. Your organs, including your kidneys, liver, and lungs, start to fail because they aren't getting enough oxygen-rich blood. Your kidneys might shut down, meaning toxins build up in your body. Your lungs can fill with fluid, leading to acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS. At this stage, you would be in an intensive care unit, on multiple medications to support your blood pressure, likely on a ventilator to breathe, and on dialysis because your kidneys have failed. All of this from eating one small lizard. The mortality rate for septic shock is incredibly high, even with the best modern medical care. We're talking about a 40 to 50% chance of not making it, and even if you do survive, the road to recovery is long and often incomplete. Many sepsis survivors suffer from post-sepsis syndrome, which can include long-term organ damage, chronic pain, fatigue, and even amputations due to blood clots that form during the illness. The risk of a severe, life-threatening infection is not a small, theoretical possibility. It's a very real and terrifyingly rapid progression that can happen to anyone. It's a stark reminder that some survival foods are a direct path to the opposite of survival. This isn't just medical theory, there are real-life cases that highlight these dangers. One of the most famous and tragic stories is that of a 34-year-old Australian man back in 2018. On a dare from friends at a party, he ate a garden slug, but the principle is the same, as it carries similar parasites. He became infected with a parasite called rat lungworm. Initially, he just felt weak and had pain in his legs, but his condition rapidly deteriorated. The parasite migrated to his brain, causing a rare form of meningitis. He fell into a coma for 420 days and woke up as a quadriplegic, unable to care for himself. He spent the rest of his life with severe disabilities before passing away 8 years after the incident. Another documented case involved a man in Florida who, after eating undercooked lizard meat, developed a severe salmonella infection that went septic. He was a healthy adult, but the bacteria overwhelmed his system. He was hospitalized with a high fever, severe abdominal pain, and dangerously low blood pressure. Doctors had to administer powerful intravenous antibiotics and fluids to stabilize him. He spent weeks in the hospital and months recovering from the damage the infection did to his body. It was a harrowing ordeal that left him with long-term digestive issues and a profound understanding of how quickly a seemingly minor decision can spiral into a life-or-death battle. These stories serve as powerful, sobering warnings. In survival situations, people have been known to eat reptiles out of sheer desperation. There are accounts from soldiers and lost hikers who have consumed snakes or lizards. While some survived without apparent issue, likely due to sheer luck or perhaps by cooking the meat extremely thoroughly, many others have reported severe gastrointestinal distress that incapacitated them for days, making their survival situation even more precarious. The risk is a game of Russian roulette. You might get lucky, but if you don't, the consequences are severe, permanent, and in some cases, fatal. These real-world outcomes underscore the medical advice: avoid it at all costs. So, what have we learned today? Eating a lizard is not a viable survival tactic or a fun party dare. It's a biological gamble with the odds stacked heavily against you. From the immediate and violent rejection by your body to the hidden dangers of Salmonella, Spirometra, and other pathogens, the risks are simply too high. Sepsis, organ failure, permanent disability, and parasitic invasions of your brain are all on the table. Your body is a complex, finely tuned machine, and introducing something so fraught with unknown pathogens can trigger a catastrophic system failure from which you may never fully recover. The key takeaway here is knowledge and respect for the natural world. Reptiles have their own complex biology, and the germs they carry are part of their ecosystem, not ours. While it's fascinating to learn about extreme survival, it's more important to understand the real, evidence-based science that should guide our decisions. Always prioritize finding clean water and seeking rescue over foraging for dangerous and unknown food sources. Your best survival tool is your brain and the knowledge you have to make safe choices. This is a perfect example of where a little bit of knowledge can literally save your life. I hope this video has given you a clear and medically accurate picture of the dangers. It's not about fear-mongering, it's about empowering you with information. Join us as we explore the weird world of survival foods and shocking real-life stories of people who dared to try it. If you found this video helpful or interesting, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. And as always, stay safe, stay curious, and ask questions. I'll see you in the next video.